Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today, be learning about the cross-country program and the new coach for cross-country and a new season. But the new coach, Elliott Blount, thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me.
And as I mentioned, it's a new season coming up, but we have a new coach, whole new program, and you're probably the newest coach having to start the season the soonest. What kind of challenge does that present to you? So,
I think just learning the lay of the land and how things actually work. It's a lot of, transition, coming from the Northeast. I'm coming from New York and, adjusting to the temperature change and everything and just figuring out how to move in Alabama is probably the biggest challenge for me. So,
and now let's talk a little bit about your background and where you came from to get here to Troy.
Raised in New York, went to school at UConn, University of Connecticut, competed 6 years post-collegiately for Nike. Came back to New York, I was out west and came back to Long Island, New York to teach, coach, and then got the opportunity at Columbia University where I spent the last 4 years. And the opportunity came up, I worked with Coach Davis, Director Davis, alongside, I guess, he was at Yale, I was at Columbia, like I said, and he got the job here, reached out to me. He asked me where I would go to coach, and I said I'd go to Bangladesh. That was my response via text. I said let's go. Came down, I loved it down here. It was something about the campus, the people that I kind of really felt comfortable with, and I had some opportunities to stay up north, but once I got down here, I felt like this was the place I wanted to be.
And you got a couple of Ivy League guys coming down here, taking part in the Sun Belt Conference, the transitions and the change. But you obviously a New York guy coming into the heart of the South down here. So cultural challenges. Have you met any of those up with those yet? So
it's good food down here. So, where there's good food, I'll be happy. So. It doesn't look like I eat much, but I do enjoy, the barbecue, which is pretty good. But people are the same anywhere you go, really. I've lived, out west, like I said, and in the north and now in the south, and you realize people, maybe a little bit slower, as far as the way of life goes. It's not like such much of a rat race as it is up in New York. But all in all, when you get to know the people, it's the same across the board.
Well, let's talk about the season, because obviously it's starting pretty quick. Tell us about your first meet you're going to.
Going down to Mobile.
Yeah.
Down to South Alabama where the conference is going to be held this year. It's a 4K race for the women, 6K for the men, which is a little shorter than the championship distances, but I think it's a great way to start. We have such a young team, and I want to see how they compete. I think that's the biggest thing I want to see early on in the season. It's not so much about the results right now. Obviously the expectation is always to win, but right now we just want to see how they compete and how we bond together as a team. In years past, and talking to the young athletes, even they were saying it was a little bit disjointed as far as the approach to racing, and I think that's the biggest thing you have to focus on. Is this racing well and competing, and then good things always happen when you compete, And
of course, the challenge of a coach that's basically been here for about a week and a half, and then having to go to the first meet, one might think that there's not a lot of time to establish a good cohesiveness between coach and athlete at that point. And that time, what do you say to that? So.
I think it's a little bit different in cross country, to be honest. We spend a lot of time, just in the runners as well. I think more so from the coaching standpoint. I think from the runner standpoint, it's important that they do their runs together, and that's where you build your camaraderie. Going through tough workouts together, it's very easy to build that type of cohesiveness that is important in cross country running. You got to pack up, I'm a fiery guy. I'm a competitor. I think the kids gravitate to that. And that's what I want to kind of bring here. Is just that type of nastiness when it comes down to it, and it's excitement. You got to change the culture a little bit. So. And
of course, and pardon the pun, but literally hit the ground running here. So an opportunity there to get things going right off the bat.
Right.
So, well, here's hoping that that transition is quick and mighty, because you don't have much time to get it in there. And good luck with the rest of the season, and hopefully, you'll start in Mobile, and hopefully you'll finish successful in Mobile at the end of the season.
Correct. Thank you. Yeah, that's the plan.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me today on Trojan Talk, and thank you for joining us on this edition of Trojan Talk.